Okay, so I'm recording now.
Mhm.
Nathan Alberto's had several kind of in-depth sessions with me, and he's probably um, the person I best understand that has kind of gone beyond everything, uh, spiritually and experientially, and then come back to himself, and he's entering the realm of really embodying mastery on a level that I haven't experienced in somebody before. So, at any rate, it's you're when you guys get a chance to talk in depth, you'll enjoy it. So, Nathan, the last time that we did the session, it was kind of focused on uh, some business things and team building and such, and so this time is you know who you are, you know why you're here, um, you know what possibilities exist in you as you are right now for you to open up and experience, transcendent state of being that's something that's far more you than the you that you're here as day to day. So the real question is, if there is an opening and a possibility for a not just a transcendent experience, but an awakening within yourself to a divine realization of the fact that creator consciousness and you are the one and the same, and that the experience of being a human here, and the personality and the identity and the circumstances and the various things that you picked up from others, all of that is fabricated. It's like going to a movie, and it has a life and death and a contextual. Yeah, this is what it looks like, but at the same time, um, you don't have to be here as a victim to the knowing of your own truth and self. So the question is if it's possible for a man to awaken from the dream of being human into the actuality of a universal and eternal um, consciousness that can't be described. It's limitless and extraordinary. At the same time, it's absolute peace. And so it's something that it seems like we all yearn for, but we yearn for it as this is our truth here, our suffering is our truth, instead of what we want, finally noticing that that's the only thing that's actually been real and true about us, and that everything else here is fabrication, you know, that will come and go. But the truth of you is eternal. So can you give the eternal and the universal permission to experience you as you are? In other words, do you have to own everything that you've shut down to and allowed to confuse you or misidentify you or in any way define you in from an relatively unconscious point of view? The question is, are you ready for life to change as it would if your experience of your universal and eternal self we're part of each everyday moment for you. So notice everything, it seems like even trillions of inputs into the experience of what it is to be you in the body here. And so to try and figure that out from an intellectual point of view, you can't. You can only do it from an experiential one that takes in everything. And so I know that you have a belief in something called God consciousness, at least and that you also believe that that's your heritage and your nature and what you're going to return to. So that being said, is there anybody that's divinely awakened anywhere in the universe that is going to be upset and condemn you if you divinely awaken while you're still in the body? That you actually became a conscious temple for the consciousness that's ineffable. And so as you consider that, parts of you, relax and open up. And the more that you watch that happen, the more you notice that, that omnipresence of God consciousness includes every part of your body. And so your job is not to deal with the issues of your body or the suffering, the limitations, the places where you're blocked and stuck. Your job is to embrace them completely, but at the same time, give them to God, because the reason that they still exist is God consciousness wants to experience it. And so that God consciousness that already permeates every aspect of your physical being, just let go of those things that you're suffering from and allow God to embrace all of that, including what it is to be you completely. And just relax into that and let it happen. Just notice that God's embracing everything in you and experiencing it. But if God consciousness, if the presence of God experiences the severe limitations of what it is to be human and part of the collective human consciousness here, all of the confusions just start dissolving away, because the consciousness of the creator of the universe doesn't get confused by all the ways that you've trapped yourself here. So, you just let God, that already permeates every aspect of the physical you, just let God deal with it, and you just watch. All you have to do is watch and say, God, do your work here. Because how can you clean a temple divinely unless it's a divine consciousness that's cleaning it? And if by your own admission you have no idea what that is, but you have a belief in it, you've had experiences of beings that were unconditionally loving, so you have a reference point for what that might be. And so allow it to be realized in your body, that divine state of consciousness. It doesn't have to, you don't have to say it's you. You don't have to, you can begin the process believing that it's someone else saving you. And you can surrender to that God consciousness or universal consciousness or that unconditionally loving presence, and just let that have everything that torments you. And you just let it all go. at the same time that you're noticing that God has embraced it all and is resolving all of the disharmonies in it. You know, awakening all of the, you know, confusions and identifications from it, you know, so that it's free to, you know, choose better for itself. You know, because everything's conscious, and regardless of what the physical manifestation is in this universe, it's all permeated by the same creator God consciousness that permeates you. And so every aspect of creation here can be divinely aware, and you can be divinely aware of them as that once you allow God consciousness to handle everything that suppresses you, you know, depresses you, you know, anything that anything that defines you. Yeah, just leave it at that. Anything that seeks to define you in any way, you know, let God take all that away. And that's not a wish. That's you feeling everything in your body, embracing everything in your body. And at the same time, in the middle of that embrace, you feel the presence of God already in that embrace. And so you can let go, and God's embracing it. You watch it transform in God's embrace, and then whatever the next thing is that has your attention, you know, now you're doing the same thing there. Whatever it is that grabs your attention in your body, you just open up until it's inside of your consciousness, so that you can see it and understand it and feel it. And then at that point where you fully open to it, you notice that God's already there in every aspect of it. And as soon as you let it go to God consciousness, then God consciousness dissolves it. Now, how fast this can go, or you know what can be done instantly, I don't know, but you know, if you could choose a time and place for you to be as open as anybody's ever been opened, and to know the most magnificent things that any human's ever known, if you could open to that experience, when would you do it? And the fact that it's impossible to do it in the future, and that the only option is right now, regardless of the past you've given to God consciousness already, so let God consciousness deal with the past. While you open up to your remembrance of who and what you were before you were born, what your consciousness was, what the essence of you was. And then you follow it out, because it's universal and eternal. So to know yourself, you know, is, you could use the example of Christ, you know, where he, you know, at one point in his ministry, he says, "Don't call me good, because there's none good except the Father which is in heaven." And then after he, you know, in the last week of his life, when he took everything upon himself, he was able to experience the eternal and the universal within his experience of self. And so that's when he said, "If you've seen the Father, you've seen me," or "If you've seen me, you've seen the Father." So what he's saying there is that it's possible to surrender the body and the mind to such an extent that what's left is God consciousness as you. And when Jesus said, "Greater works than I have done will ye do," he wasn't telling you not to do this. He was telling you to do it, and do it even better than him, because he didn't truly figure it all out until the last week of his life, so he didn't have time to do much with his full divine realization. But I think he expected that other people would, and spend their life, in enjoying heaven on earth, because that's who they showed up as. And I think that's contagious. I don't think it takes very many people to realize their own divine nature and their experience of their self as a human, that before everybody says, "Oh, I remember, I'm in." And it's that easy, because you're not a human fixing human problems. You're a divine being dreaming about human problems, and if you wake up in the dream, then your wisdom, becomes part of your part of who and what you are here, and so you're able to conduct yourself in such ways that you don't unnecessarily burden yourself, so that you're free to be where you need to be and with whom you should be, and so that whatever would like to happen through you, universally and eternally, with gratitude and a blessing on everyone and everything, that's the potential human. And there's no obstacle to it other than your willingness to have that experience, which is clearly an impossible obstacle, because who do you see acting divinely around here, where their radiance is just, oh my God, how did that happen? So why not embrace the impossible? The truth that is impossible until it's embraced. So when do we give up the stories of our lives, our names, our egos? What does it feel like to turn your ego over to God consciousness? It didn't dissolve your ego, but it sure got a whole lot smarter. More of a universal point of view instead of a one body point of view. So whatever it is that you feel like to yourself in terms of any sort of feelings or energies, or kind of chronic state of consciousness point of view, whatever all of that feels like, open up and feel yourself, what it's like to be present as you. And allow yourself to feel it all until you've got a full grasp on who and what you are here, who you're presenting yourself to the universe and every person here as. This is me, this is me, this is me, this is me, this is me. And the universe knows that you're lying, but it's going along with you because you're a divine being having a pretended experience. And so you get to do what you want. But if you wanted to wake up, could you handle the repercussions of it? You know, because if you wake up, then you're not you anymore. I mean, you're more you than you ever were, but you'll be a version of yourself that wouldn't say and do the things that you've been doing. It'd be a new life, you know, much like you know, the people that have the near-death experiences, and they die troubled and frustrated and whatever, and they spend a few minutes in experiencing unconditional love in such an intimate way that it changed everything in them, and they came back to be of service to the world now. You know, so the intensity of that unconditional love that permeates the universe and permeates every aspect of you. The only problem is that you got your foot on the brake. You know, just relax that a little bit and let the truth happen to you. Let the truth have its way with you. Let the truth end all of your confusions about what's real and what's true. You know? See things in such a way that you're not uncertain anymore, and you're not wrong. Well, finally, a good amount of relief for me. This is nice.
That was really profound, David.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Well, thank you. How much?
Very, very well put.
And so the next step is this, Nathan. Feel how open you are to a flow of grace.
Yeah.
Now,
It puts
up,
me in the right mindset to
now,
write music.
Be twice as open to that now.
Yeah.
Allow so much divine grace and presence and self-awareness become real to you, so that it's made real in you, so which is what realized means. That divine realization, just feel God's already there. You just don't perceive God as you yet. But that's okay. You can perceive God as filling every aspect of the physical you, because it's true. And it's true enough to heal, you know, what's wrong with you. Mentally, emotionally, physically. But you have to embrace what is, and then you have to notice God in that embrace, and then watch and be conscious of and aware of the God consciousness that's that essentially you're just watching heal you because you were open and chose and said yes. So once you get out of the densest confinement, you know, where you've really jammed yourself up, then your body will be relaxed enough to where you breathe easy, you know, because the body doesn't feel under stress anymore. Now, it's easy for the focus to slip away, but if you give yourself some extended period of time where you're willing to just sit and feel what it is to be you, physically, mentally, emotionally, and embrace all of that, where you're not pushing reality away from you, you're embracing it. And then again, in that embrace, you notice that God's there embracing everything, you and the stuff that's been troubling you, both. So at that point, you let go and let God resolve everything. The reason why you surrender to God is if God is omnipotent, which is all knowing and all loving and supportive of all life and all consciousness and gives us a free will reality here, then, you know, you can trust him to, if he's there already and in connection with your burdens, it's okay for you to let them go and let your burdens experience God consciousness. Let that divine intent of the story of Christ, for Christ to save you, and let him save you right now. Notice that he permeates every aspect of your being. Notice every part in you that says, yeah, I need to be saved, and let go of it. Let it be saved. So in addition to that, be inside your head where you hang out the most and look out the eyes. And notice God is looking out of your eyes also. Everything that you feel, everything that you perceive with your eyes, God is right there with you. There's nothing that you perceive that God doesn't perceive. Nothing that you feel that God's not feeling, and God is there with you, saying, yeah, time to remember. Time to be at home with yourself. Time to be a temple for the truth that sets consciousness free from whatever it is that limits it to a unself-realized, state of over-identification and confusion. Yeah, so that brought up another layer, so just feel it, embrace it. Notice God's there already. In fact, God was there waiting for you to notice what everything was so that he could take out the trash. Now, if you prefer a female God, I do myself, who's the most amazingly beautiful, loving, and dare I say sensual goddess that's ever been described? Or if it's better to be an indescribable experience, then whatever that is, try the female perspective of God consciousness, and whatever your favorite way to experience that would be. Notice how it goes straight to work on your heart. Your heart, your hara, your whole central column is activating and opening and vortexing now. I'm not saying the goddess is better than God, but she hasn't had equal time. And sometimes when something's less defined and more mystically interesting, it's like talking about private things to a stranger on an airplane. You can tell them anything because it doesn't matter. You'll never see them again. They don't know you. Well, it's kind of the same thing with the goddess. If in your religious upbringing there's only been talk about gods, so what would it be like to experience as a human man in your body tonight, right now, a divine embrace from a truly unconditionally loving, self-realized divine goddess consciousness fully embracing you right now? What would that feel like? And how would you change as a result of receiving that amount of unconditional love? Yeah. Now you can breathe deeply. Without suffering too much from it. Then the next level again, feel it all. And notice that the goddess is still hanging around, permeating everything, leaving this sweet experience, a sense of just an awe of beauty and grace. What's it feel like to truly feel the essence of a goddess in your experience of yourself? Okay. It's freedom. It's forgiveness. It's redemption. It's restoration, so if there's a goddess that loves you, let her. And there is. Let her show you home again. Let her open those memories for you. Remember what it's like to be in the world but not of the world, No, we're no longer of this world if this is what we choose. And then You can be like the holy man or the ascended master, whoever it was, walking through the valley of death. You know, if you're, if if somebody's divinely realized, that is, that overwhelms every oppositional point of view that's directed at it and negates it, because it, because the lies that are twisted in that point of view can't maintain the structure of their existence in that level of the presence of a divine uh, a divinely realized consciousness. So um, and that, I think, is what creates the invitation for everybody else to join, is that if somebody is divinely realized, then simply being in their presence means that it would be impossible for you to hold on to any lies about your identity, and 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 let go of everything that you'd ever complain about, and open into that. Oh yes, I remember now. Of course, thank you. And you just come back to yourself instantly. You're awakened. What would that feel like if you just instantly awakened right now? It would be okay, because God consciousness wouldn't stop taking care of everything that was overwhelming you to take care of yourself. So now you just get to easily remember, because now you're noticing that in fact you're not the creation asking the creator for help. You're the creator awakening within the creation. And as you awaken within the creation, then you don't identify as the creation. You take responsibility for it divinely, but it's not you. It's just inside of you, and that's uh, how you're, what you're perceiving through and expressing through, as you know, as a living being. But what would it be like if you let yourself go all the way, and until, you know, that altar of truth that burns eternally upon the lies of unconsciousness, give that a place in you. Just let there be a furnace continually burning on the thoughts and the ideas and the beliefs and the attitudes and the judgments and the curses and the obligations and the suppression and lies of what has been to be alive here, which includes all the cellular memories from all of the ancestors all the way back too, because you're the final manifestation of them. So when you open and notice, when you open and embrace the actuality of who and what you are here, and then in that embrace, and that feeling and the knowing and the understanding of how you've configured yourself here, what you've brought upon yourself, then at that point, again, yeah, just open to noticing that God consciousness is there, Goddess consciousness is there, eternity and the universal are fully present. And simply allowing that to be your experience of reality is what shifts it to that. Because it's real and it's true. But to experience it, you have to let go of everything that prevents that. Because it's already real, it's already true, it's already you, but you can't experience it if you're holding on to your suffering, to your identity, to the story of your life and the tragedy of what it's been to be you. And it goes without saying that you trap yourself by being good at something too, and by being successful. And you don't challenge those as being traps, but they're the worst ones because they're the ones that you never feel like confronting because they're helping you so much in life. So, all those strategies that have made you be successful, that come from polarity, that I'm the winner and someone else is the loser. That's got to go too. And the divine is there, embracing it already. It just needs you to watch. To watch and let go. Hmm. Well, this has been exactly what I needed. I hope it's been something you found useful to follow along with.
Yeah, man. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Okay. So that's more the spiritual side of it, and obviously uh, if you only open up partially, then you have to keep that in your awareness and keep allowing it until the process is complete. Well, Alberto, you still on? Well, he might have gone to sleep. Alberto, I'll send you over a link to this or a transcription shortly. Thanks.
Much appreciated, Dave.
So, yeah, I know it's different um, than what other people do, but I don't see any way to do it through learning. It can only happen experientially, and you've got to simply deal with what is in order to duplicate it. If you duplicate what is, it kind of ceases to exist, and so you have to be willing to feel it. And you have to be willing to feel it divinely. And so the divine's always been there, and if you're not identified as it, it doesn't matter. All you have to do is notice that it's there, and notice that it's everywhere that you can look, everywhere you can feel. So it gives you the ability to feel everything without fear. And then, let God love it into transformation. And the end result, of course, is that when you've let go of enough of the pretense of you believing that you are human, and the body and the life history and the personality and the identity and the cellular memories, and that's what is real about you and what defines you, choosing to notice the eternal and the universal instead of the temporal and the finite, you know, that thing that changes. And what changes is life and death, you know. And if you give 100% of your attention to life and death, then that's going to be your experience, is, you know, kind of the randomness of what can happen to people here, good and bad. And better to choose to open to whatever truth it is that would set you free from the things that you wish were different about yourself and about the world. At any rate, I guess we'll end there. It wasn't too long, just 45 minutes. So.
Man, it's just, you know, when you say something that opens your eyes in a way, David, for me, that gave me the ability to realize that I could have a breakthrough.
Yeah, you can.
I can really have a breakthrough with this in a way that, think about just the thought of, why wait till you're dead to be in the same better, or actually much better consciousness, and wait till you die to be there? Why not be there today?
Yeah, so think about what we were talking about a month ago, and you know, see if you guys can think of 4 or 5 people for a 4 or 5 day transformational course.
Yeah, we're looking at, you know, the dates on this. Cal says he's going down in September.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll bet. I mean, if I pushed it hard, yeah, we could fill that. We have to look at the numbers on what it's going to cost, and pad it into what they have to pay to fly, and what's a fair price for it. But I'll tell you,